Today, we're going to go over the top 10 things to automate in your business. And maybe it's not the top 10 for your business. Every business is a little different, but these are definitely 10 things that you should have automation systems in place for. Number 2, post-purchase. So again, you got to think, when someone's purchased something from you, that is a super key moment. It's a super key moment. They have trusted you. They have pulled out their credit card. They bought a thing. They're waiting for you to, to deliver on the product or whatever that you sent, right? I literally could spend 3 hours talking about what to do with your post-purchase strategy, okay? So again, you got to think, when someone's purchased something from you, that is a super key moment. It's a super key moment. They have trusted you. They have pulled out their credit card. They bought a thing. They're waiting for you to, to deliver on the product or whatever that you sent, right? So obviously you've got things like your receipts and your things like that. But here are some other things, and it's going to be super short recap because I, again, could spend an hour just on this, but go check out that presentation, how to double your revenue. And if you don't know where it is, just put a comment and we'll send you over a link on how to get to it. But how to double your revenue. So think about this. First thing you can do when you have something that comes in here is set up your onboarding. So onboarding. So what is your onboarding process? Now, again, I'm talking mostly to service companies here, but why not send them an email immediately showing them what the onboarding strategy process is going to be like? So one thing you've got to do is, if you have something that's complex and that's really behind the scenes, you need to materialize what your process is. So email them and list out hey, these are the steps. You're going to have, a call here. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And you have an email where you're literally showing them exactly what you're going to do, what you're getting into. And this can just create a lot of peace, especially if you have timelines. Timelines are super important. I'll tell you right now, if you don't set expectations, you're going to disappoint people. And even if you do set expectations clearly, you're still going to disappoint people. So you've got to be, in a service business, you got to be super clear about what that onboarding process looks like, and make sure that's some of the first emails that you're sending off. All right. So next thing, let's get people, let's make sure we got people in your social. So again, we just talked about that on the last one, is welcome. But you want to make sure that you're getting people in your social networks, especially if you have a private social community, which I definitely recommend. With all, things change quite often in the social media world. So I do recommend you having your own kind of community. And so what do you need to do to create that kind of social dynamic? Get people together. I'll send them emails, get them all locked up. What else can we do? Oh yeah, here's a really good one. Surveys. After someone's purchased, ask them what they felt. How did this work? How did you like it? Do you enjoy it? Do you have everything, right? So one of the most common surveys out there is called an NPS, a Net Promoter Score survey. And even if you don't know that phrase, you've probably been a part of a Net Promoter Score survey in the past. And it says, on a scale of 0 to 10, how likely are you to recommend us to someone else? Right? So you should definitely send that off. And that type of a survey will give you a good lens on how well they, they're satisfied with what you're doing. And then you create automation based on their result, right? So if it was a negative response, well, send them to your customer support. If it's a positive response, rush for time, I'm starting to get real doctor handwriting here. If it's a positive response saying 10 out of 10, I definitely recommend you. Well, why don't you ask for a referral? What's a better time to ask for a referral than when your customer just said 10 out of 10, I would definitely recommend you? Now, that's a great way. That's a great time to do it, right? So that's a great thing to do post-purchase. I'll talk a little bit more about that because that's like kind of customer satisfaction, which is one of the other 10 that I had on here. But the real thing for you should be focusing on here is what are your upsells, downsells, cross-sells. So if someone bought this, what other products could you upgrade them to? What other accessories and tools could they get to enhance their purchase? And then are there other kind of smaller price products and things like that that they could add on, to their subscription? A downsell is typically when somebody says no to something, you downsell into it. But you got your whole product line. You got to realize when somebody purchases something, how can you move them to get a greater adoption of your products and services? All right. And again, if you think of automation, if you bought this, you'd probably buy that. If you go to any of those electronic, I'm trying to say Fry's Electronics, but I think they actually went out of business. I used to love Fry's back in California. But, these kind of tools, they actually make more money selling the accessories. Actually, anyone who sells a TV, the margins on TVs right now are they're non-existent, right? Like you go to a place, you go buy a 60-inch flat screen. It's so competitive. There's barely any margin in selling the TV. So where do they make their money? They make their money in their HDMI cables and their stands and all the accessories that go along with it, And so you gotta be thinking about, when I sell my core product service offering, what other elements or products or things can I offer? And this could be you might not even have them invented yet. You got to be thinking about that. If I'm serving my customer in this space, what are the other things that I could offer that would maximize their enjoyment of what they just purchased? Because that's the thing is if they don't buy it from you, they're going to go on Amazon, or they're going to go to another service provider or whatever the case may be. Take care of your people, right? Take care of your people. The last thing I'm going to share about post-purchase is I truly recommend that you take care of your best people. Okay? So good old law of 80-20. 80% of your revenue probably comes from 20% of your customers. And if you're saying, well, no, 20% don't buy 80%, but I'll say this, that 20%, the referrals that they send you, the reviews that they left, they probably impact 80% of your revenue. It's pretty much the same across every business. Sometimes it's even more dramatic. 90% of the revenue comes from 10% of the customers. So if that's the case, what can you do to treat your top 10, 20% of customers differently? How can you take care of your VIP? If you got people that are sending you referrals all the time, you should have automation in place that understands Tom sent us, 3 referrals in the last 3 months, or they spent, $10,000 in the last 6 months, whatever the case may be about your particular business that constitute them to be a VIP. Well, make that trigger some kind of internal notification. You know what? Get a gift card to a great steakhouse, send it over to them, bless them, take care of the people that are taking care of your business. And that is a fantastic, a tool for continual growth and expansion of your business.